Okay, so we're looking at inverse variation today, but let's just go back to what direct variation was. So, excuse me. So, like for instance, if I walk 7 meters per second, we can create a formula. So the distance that you walk equals 7 times your time. The 7 comes from the number. I put distance out the front because that's the first variable, and I put time at the second as the second variable. And then once we find the formula, we can find the distance if I know the time, or I can find the time if I know the distance. So once I got the formula, I can go back, and this is what the graph of direct variation looks like. It's a straight line, okay? So direct variations are straight lines, okay? And they normally go through the origin because, you know, time equals 0. Normally you start from time equals 0 or some variable equals 0. Okay, so the formula can be calculated, and the graph is a straight line, okay? And just again, just to remind you that the formula for direct variation looks like that, like a straight line, y equals kx. This k value is a constant, like for instance in the previous question k was 7, okay, and this is the first quantity you're measuring, and this is the second quantity. So in the first example we were measuring distance, and the second variable was time, but they can be all different things. Okay, so look at the formula, y equals kx, that is for direct variation. Direction, that should be direct variation. Okay, coming across. So with inverse variation, we look at a different relationship between the two quantities. So we've still got two things, but it's not the same. So for instance, the example that is the classic ones, if you're sharing, if you're sharing 20 lollies between your friends, so if you've got one friend, you each get 20, okay? If you have 2 friends, they each get 10. If you have 4 friends, they each get 5. If you have 10 friends, they each get 2. 20, they all each get 1. So I'm going 1 times 20, each of these numbers multiply to give 20. And then when I graph it, okay, I'm not putting all the numbers in, but if you had 1 friend, they're getting 20. If you have 2 friends, they're getting 10. 4 friends is getting 5. 10 friends is getting 2, 20 friends is getting 1, and that's what the shape is. That's this, not a straight line, and this shape is called a hyperbola. Okay, it keeps going to infinity. Okay, because you could share it out even further, and obviously with lollies you can't share it. You might get you could have half a lolly each, but it looks like that shape. Okay, coming across when you're ready. So what we've got is this formula which looks different to the direct variation. So inverse variation, it looks like a fraction. Okay, so y equals k over x. Now this value of the constant, you've got to calculate. Okay, so the constant is to be calculated, and then y and x are still the variables, but k you have to find. Okay, so can you copy that down and come across when you're ready? Okay, so let's have a look at a question. Now in these questions, you get told explicitly that there's an inverse variation. Okay, you don't have to guess it. You're told in these questions that there's an inverse variation. Okay, so that's not the hard part. Okay, so what we do is first thing we do is once we know it's an inverse, we can say y equals k over x, and that's the formula. And now we've got to find k. Now I haven't got a lot of space, so I'm going to just put it in. So when y equals 10, so 10 equals k over x. Okay. Sorry, k over 2. K over 2, because x was 2. And then to get rid of divide 2, we times by 2, and that will cancel it out, but we times by 2 on that side, so k equals 20. So that means the formula is 20 over x. Okay, and now we've done the first part, we found the general formula. Next part, find y when x is 3. So this is part 2. Y equals 20. Find y when x is 3, and so the answer is 6 2/3. And in the third part, now the beauty with these fractions is that if y equals 20 over x, these two can just switch positions, and so the formula is also that formula. Okay, so those formulas can just interchange, the two letters can switch positions, and so for the third one, x equals 20 over 12 which is 1, 8, so 1 2/3. Now these might have units, like just depends on what the question's asking. So there might be a unit like y equals 6 2/3 kilograms. Okay, so just have to watch out for units. So this what the step is. You write the general formula. You have to get told in the question that it's an inverse. Okay, you don't have to guess. You set the formula up, and then the information is given in the question to find the value of k. And then once you've got the formula, y equals, like these things are measured, distance or whatever, and then for the second part of the question you can just switch these letters over and you have the same formula. Okay, so copy that and come across when you're ready. And so the exercise is 6C, which is what you would have started, and hopefully we'll keep going on with today. Thanks.